ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः. हरि ओम. यस्मान्नो द्विजते लोको लोकान्नो द्विजते च यः. हर्षामर्षभयोद्वेगैर्मुक्तो यः स च मे प्रियः. He by whom the world is not agitated, afflicted, and who cannot be agitated by the world, who is free from joy, envy, fear and anxiety, he is dear to me. Bhagavad Gita 12.15. Shri Krishna Sharanam. Dedicated to all senior citizens of our country with wonderful memories, guiding spirit and blessings of Pujaniya Swami Chinmayananda Ji and Swami Tejomayananda Ji. Message: Human society is based on relationships. Since man cannot live in total isolation, these relationships form many units of the society called families. Taking the lifespan of man into account, we find that generally there exist 3 generations together at a given time per family, even if they do not live as a joint family. Relationships restrict every person's freedom to some extent, giving rise to conflicts at times. As such, it becomes necessary to evolve a value system based on which the family members of the whole society is also assured. The importance of a value system should be recognized by all because through the passage of time, a generation gap is created between any 2 generations, which can create a major problem if not handled carefully in the first instance itself. Various civilizations have tried in the past and are still trying to deal with the issue of multi-generational relationships. Here we shall see it in the Indian context. It is an established fact that the Indian Vedic civilization is the most ancient one in the world, which is a living and vibrant civilization. Even now, while many others have become more mere history, the reason for this is the firm foundation of culture and values, which take the ever changing character of society into account and thus avoid rigidity that ensures its vibrant life. Treat your mother, father, teacher, and guest as God enjoined the Veda. People did follow this instruction, and thus we see that in olden days, relationship between parents and children are based on reverence, obedience, and discipline. These virtues were more prominent than the demonstrative love and friendship which are observed in modern time. Reasons for this change is attitude could be smaller family. Change in attitude could be smaller family units due to employment situation caused by industrialization, urban living, growing contact with the Western countries, and so on. Here, the question is not as to which is right or better, but the important point is how to synthesize both in a manner which will ensure harmony in family life. This issue will have to be examined and dealt with all generations more seriously than is being done now. When 2 generations take rigid stands, then conflict is certain. Such a situation can be avoided by mutual understanding in a cordial atmosphere. This can be done, we must. I am pleased to note, Sansthan. The President Amanda K. Narayanan is happy to know that on results. आज के समाज में बुजुर्गों के मान सम्मान में जो कमी आ रही है उसका मुख्य कारण संयुक्त पर्यावरण का विघटन और पाश्चात्य संस्कृति का बढ़ता प्रभाव है। इसलिए समय रहते बुजुर्गों की ओर ध्यान देना आवश्यक है। बुजुर्गों को सम्मान देना चाहिए और उनके अनुभवों से युवा पीढ़ी को लाभ उठाना चाहिए। मैसेज The late Swami Chinmayananda was one of the most effective and influential interpreters of the Indian cultural and religious traditions in recent times. The Gita was a special love and is easy to comprehend discourses, served to bring its message home to countless millions in India and abroad, as he was able to reinterpret with consummate ease his special significance in modern times. By the theme you have chosen for your deliberation, you have done Swamiji's memory proud. Vanaprastha was, according to Indian tradition, that stage in life when a person having fulfilled all his temporal responsibilities could retreat into a life of contemplation and reflection and seek to prepare himself to meet his Maker. The problem of modern day life, with its pressures leading to weakening of familial bonds, have wrought havoc on the idyllic system. The lives of the aged are now full of worry and care. In the West, they have a reasonably well organized system for the care of the aged. The fall in the health birth rate and the increase in life expectancy, the proportion of the aged in the total population is bound to increase. Oriental traditions placed great emphasis on filial piety. It is doubtless whether these traditions will be able to withstand such demographically generated pressures in the context of the emerging sociological scenario. This exhibits international awareness to bridge the abyss between the old and the new. This gap has developed for the lack of inculcating our rich ancient cultural heritage to the blooming juvenile. Sowing this seed of culture, respect for the elders, service to the aged with special recognition of its merit of the highest order will sprout incentive in a youth to reach it. Service to man is service to God. Service oriented education begets love. Love is God. This is the key to bridge the discord between all conceivable relationships. वृद्धावस्था प्राप्त होने पर भारत में जिस प्रकार इस पीढ़ी के लोगों को विभिन्न समस्याओं का सामना करना पड़ रहा है, उनके निदान तथा समाधान में यह परिचर्चा निश्चय ही अत्यधिक महत्वपूर्ण सिद्ध होगी। संभवतः प्राचीन भारतीय वर्णाश्रम धर्म व्यवस्था था वानप्रस्थाश्रम एवं संन्यासाश्रम की व्यवस्थाओं को दृष्टिगत रखते हुए आधुनिक काल के अनुरूप कोई अन्य परिष्कृत एवं सुखदायक व्यवस्था ढूंढ निकालने में यह परिचर्चा अहम भूमिका निभा सके। Lit up by the superb spark of his sublimity, we are born to be good and to do good under the broad embrace of human fellowship and spiritual kinship. For imbibing such Catholic vision, we must see the Supreme Father's pulsating presence into his living beings and be constantly alarmed of our own ever-haunting mortality, enlightened clairvoyantly by saintly sublime spirit. His Holiness Swami Tejomayanandaji has been proceeding through international Chinmay mission by diffusing rays of relief in the dark, dismal corners of multifarious sufferings and starvations in the self-shrunken world of today. I must reverentially bow down to His Holiness for His inspiring and ennobling light to Chinmay mission. Our broad-based ancient culture and heritage, as enshrined in Sanatan Dharma, was once the hallmark of social justice and harmony, beacon light of spiritual peace to the self-ridden, mammon-worshipping materialistic world at large, adrift from the serene, sacrosanct stream of great saints and seers. Indian society is now vehemently driven asunder by tremendous diversities, and dissections. Holy human values are fading fast. The fabric of joint family cohesion is falling out. Morality defiled, sense of duty vanishing, and filial conscience shrunken. Degeneration amongst the youth has been brewing up, indolence and aloofness, apathy and insularity. No more now those fine springs and symphonies of mellifluous spirit. In Indian society now no Shravan Kumar, no Yashoda, no Sumitra, no Kausalya, no Savitri, no Damayanti, no Dashrath, nor brothers like Bharat and Lakshmana. Spectrum of susceptibilities entirely blurred now under fissiparous fissures of generational divergence. I must compliment the executive chairman of CCBS, which illustratively symbolizes the very crux of purifying Trinity, multi-generational relationships in Indian society, adjustment and adaptability, attunement and atonement, mildness and moderation, tending and trimming, encouragement and infusion, forbearance and forgiveness, support and reciprocity, harmony and homogeneity, generosity and geniality, fine susceptibility and soothing sympathy. Succinctly speaking, would abridge generation gaps and conduce smoother understanding and more congenial, congenial amity amid generation-wise relationships. The grown-ups do need core caressing care, sincere service and support, bedecked, bedecked by succor and solace, and sustenance at their advanced age, fraught with feeble frailty. Still more compassionately, the infants whose mortality has been enormously ascending device the world over as victims of pollution. Parents filially owe to their tender saplings the best possible medical care and nourishment apart from compassionate intensive attention, fostering, fondling, lulling, love, palliative, pettings, and life infusing sweet smiles. Infants must be mothered most effeminately under material divinity protection from pollution with topmost priority. जीवन पथ पल पल घटता जाता है, दिए में जलती माटी की भांति, मुट्ठी से सरकती रेत की भांति, ढलते सूरज की रोशनी की भांति, फिर अनायास ही बिना नोटिस के बातें बुझ जाती है, मुट्ठी खाली हो जाती है, नदियाँ सागर में समाहित हो जाती है, रोशनी क्षितिज में विलीन हो जाती है, आयु समाप्त हो जाती है, शेष रह जाती है जाने वाली की स्मृति, अच्छी या बुरी, खोटी या खरी, अधिकांश मरकर सदा को मर जाते हैं, विरले ही मरकर भी अमर हो जाते हैं। आत्मा अत्यंत सुखमय हो, जितना भी जियो चेतना को जगा के जियो, और रोतों को हंसा के जियो, अंधेरों को मिटा के जियो, जग को जगमगा के जियो, अपना आत्मविश्वास जागृत रहे, नया जगत आलोकित रहे। Now this is article by Swami Chinmayananda Ji. Healthy attitude of life in old age. While living here, man's greatest endeavor is to understand the master and master the secret of life, the reality behind him, and to gain his perfect identification with it. He must be able to meet death not as a moment of utter annihilation, but as a springboard to rocket himself into an eternal existence, peaceful and divine, when death comes to erase you out of existence in this manifested world. And what lies is your science for you. Of what charm is the art that you have mastered? Of what help is the knowledge of all secular sciences and worldly positions? It is said that once in Benares as Shankara, along with 14 of his disciples following, was going on along. He overheard an old Pandit repeating to himself grammar rules, and at this futile effort, put forth for a mere intellectual accomplishment and thus wasting his time in life without realizing the spiritual unfoldment in himself. Acharya is said to have burst forth into the stanzas of Bhaja Govindam. Grammar rules will never help anyone at the time of death. While living, strive to realize the deathless state of purity and perfection. The grammar rule that has been indicated here stands for all secular knowledge and possessions. The import of this condemnation that all grammar and such other secular sciences cannot save the soul when death reaches to snatch the individual away from his this limited ambit of temporary existence here in the world reminds us of a similar situation in Chandogya Upanishad when Narad approaches Sanat Kumar humbly begging for initiation into the great knowledge. The teacher rightly asks, "Tell me all that you already know, so that I may instruct you in what you do not know." Narad thereupon gives an endless and brilliant list of sciences that he had already mastered, from astrology to astronomy to literature and art, music, dance, all the varied sciences, etc., at which Sanat Kumar says, "These are all mere names. The finite Brahman is to be realized, it exceeds all these." It is interesting to note that in the list of Narada's accomplishments, grammar was also especially mentioned. Kathopanishad. Knowledge. Knowledge of grammar is no doubt necessary. It is means to an end. To understand rightly the Shastra declarations and even to appreciate fully the advice of the teacher. Grammar is useful, but to waste our previous precious lifetime in the pursuit of all these non essentials and never taking up seriously the study of the greatest of sciences, which alone can save man from the thraldom of imperfections, has been condemned by Acharya Shankar. There is a set of optimistic men of mere book knowledge who quote Gita and say that at the time of parting, they shall remember the Lord and thus achieve all that is to be achieved. In the Gita, it is said that one who leaves the mortal coil, remembering me, he is saved. Book knowledge cannot save us from the unrelenting law. The law is the Lord. The extrovert personality wanders away from reality to get himself enmeshed in the finite experiences of joys and seeks his fulfillment in the world outside. Desire for possessing, acquiring, hoarding, and enjoying is the only motive force that takes man out of his own inner equipoise in the stormy realms of lust and greed. By so doing, man gets himself involved in the sorrows of samsara, although he is really the inheritor of endless peace and perfection. One who comes to suffer from one's own ignorance is called a fool. With this foolishness comes up to entire problem of the sorrow in life. It is therefore advised, give up the thirst to possess wealth and family. Let us surrender in love and devotion at the altar of the Lord, as conceived by the devotee. The process of self liquidation at the feet of the Lord is known as bhakti. When the mind is cleansed of passions, then with a passionless mind one must meditate upon the reality. If the mind is withdrawn from its present preoccupations, it becomes empty and nature abhors vacuum. If the mind is withdrawn from the objects of its entertainment, it gathers in itself an infinite momentum, and if it cannot discover for itself a creative field of self application, it is sure to dissipate itself again into a different set of objects cleanse the mind of its lust for objects, greed for possessions, covetousness for wealth, and apply the same mind in the field of contemplation upon the real, the enduring, the eternal. Who is a friend? He who comes to you with love and cheer when all others have left you is a true friend. Such a true friend is discovered not by searching outside for the right person to befriend, but by your growing to be the right person to deserve a friend. Service to senior citizens, Swami Chinmaya Shankarananda. We all are aware of the fact that the percentage of the population of older people is increasing all over the world, and India is also facing the same problem. The older age groups are growing faster than the younger age groups. On the other hand, the family, which was the only shelter of older people, is now dwindling very fast for its own reasons. In these changing circumstances, it has become imperative to create greater awareness among the older people themselves of the problems of aging and their remedies. They will have to learn how to live physically and psychologically fit and keep themselves capable of doing activities of daily life. ADL, activities of daily life. Keeping this idea in mind, this Vanaprastha is started. No doubt it is a new idea, but I believe you are all aware of it. However, I give you a brief sketch of the program so that you may own it as your own program. It is admitted all over the world that the persons of third age are required to be re-educated. A seminar was organized in the month of September in Germany, and its topic was the need of learning in third age. They emphasized the need of education for old people. Many types of new problems creep up in old age, such as physical, psychological, social, and financial. The science that deals with these problems is called gerontology. Its study is found useful in leading purposeful and happy life. In Western countries, thinkers are trying to develop this science to make it more comprehensive and practical. In India, our rishis had long before given a thought to this point, and they had formed an institution called Vanaprastha. In modern days, it is badly misunderstood as many other aspects of our culture. As a matter of fact, it deals and with all the problems of old age, and it is quite comprehensive with the cultural lack. At present, it has lost its vitality. People live as householder even in their third and fourth age and suffer in the changed circumstances of family and society. They feel loneliness and find themselves dejected, and helpless. It is not sufficient to provide old age homes with free boarding, lodging, and recreation. In order to give them a proper place in society, they are required to be re-educated in the light of modern Western research and old age Indian wisdom. Puja Gurudev had realized it and sought a plan to fulfill the need. He explained it many times how the old people could come out from the snares of mundane life. In the last phase of life, one must dedicate himself to spiritual sadhana and keep himself busy in some sort of social service to serve this section of society. Gurudev had established Pitamaha Sadan in different places all over the country. One of them is situated in Mandana, Kanpur. Uttar Pradesh retired people can are coming and joining the ashram. They are doing their sadhana and serving the society. To give a push to this movement is necessary to create awareness among the senior citizens. A wide range publicity is necessary. Thereafter, we will have to give them further information and training. For that purpose, there is a need of graded courses. We have prepared an outline and have given it in a small book, Jara Vignan. It is just an outline, a first endeavor in this direction. I invite all of you to give some thought to it and raise it to a desirable level. The graded course of CVS is planned in such a way that the persons who come under this fold may get more and more information in three stages. The awareness program given for the first time is called preparatory course. The persons who attend this course will be eligible to join basic course. It will include broader information and practical training as well. It is expected that these persons will take up some spiritual sadhana for themselves. So to say upasana, and they will conduct study groups, bal vihars, yuva kendras, they will understand the vision of Gurudev. Some of the participants may be quite serious, intelligent and diligent. They will be invited for advanced course with the hope that they will in due course join some faculty and help us in propagating the CVS program. Thus there will be three successive courses: preparatory, basic and advanced. Today belongs to us, yesterday was, tomorrow will be. Every day is bursting with opportunities for us to do and to serve, to act and to express, to love and to live. We must make use of these lush changes and diligently make our life rich, fruitful, and useful for others at all times. Equanimity in the face of life's challenges must flow out not from the dark ages of one's inertia and stupidity. It must gurgle out from one's own wisdom and understanding. You are a sad unproductive person when you see difficulties in every opportunity. You are successful and creative Only when you see an opportunity in every difficulty. You are a sad and productive person. A plan can deliver its promised blessings only when the plan is executed with promptitude. A successful man is one who can lay firm foundation with the bricks that others throw at him. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम ओम श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरुवे नमः।